Red Bud rider breakdown. So this, starting off, just has to be a quick little reaction to this abso-effing-lutely incredible scrub by Hayden Deegan. Watch this over the finish. Woo-ho-ho-ho. Dude, he was a pancake. He was flatter than my ego last week. Whoa! Wow. Look at him. Comes hauling ass around the corner. Then he starts turning on the face of the jump. Look at him. He's got to be at a 45-degree angle right now. And he's already started the scrub. And that ass end slides around. Wow. Dragging the foot peg, basically. Do you see how his inside elbow is tucked in as he's turning the handlebars right off the lip? Woo-hoo-hoo. Look at that, man. That is pretty. I hope somebody got a picture of that with HD, because this is not doing any of it justice. But here, let's watch that one more time. Wow. There is Tom Vial and Ty Masterpool, who are pretty much up front, both motos. Watch what Tom does, and Ty ends up picking up on the line. Oh, you barely saw it there, okay? If you saw it, let me know in the comments below before I back up in the video here. But watch Ty. They are using the entire track because this is one of the roughest sections of the entire circuit, because you're going downhill and it goes to like a different type of dirt where this just gets to be gigantic bumps. Because Red Bud has some sand, they've got some sand rollers, then they've got some deep stuff, and then this is some real wet type dirt that ends up holding the moisture, so it creates massive bumps. And we've seen many riders go down there. Hunter went down there, and you also had Jordan Smith go down there, but these guys are riding the edge to get around the deep bumps, because you can see the shadows. These are gigantic curbs, and when you're on the brakes, the suspension doesn't want to move. It locks up, and then it'll rebound, where if you're just rolling over through the stuff, even in a coasting motion, the suspension is going to work better. But these guys don't coast that often. They're pretty much accelerating. And there is one thing that some riders do is they'll drag the rear brake and load the motorcycle. So it's more of like trying to pack it like a whoop section, like over some braking bumps. You're accelerating over them, but holding it back just a bit with the rear brake. But here, watch both of these guys using the entire track. Ty at the top, you can see him turning to not go completely off into the banner, but he is just riding that edge. It is essentially the beam in gymnastics, what he is doing, or tightrope, you would say. But he is getting around all of the big bumps. And Ty ends up doing that in another section here after Larocco's leap. Riding just off. He's still on the track because of these track markers. However, he's somewhat off the track. In my book, he is riding that ragged edge. But the amount of effort, he's jumping off onto the curb and wall riding. Same section, we're seeing Hunter Lawrence come to the inside, not using the entire area of the track. But watch what he does here. As opposed to stay to the inside, he's going to go inside and jump outside because he can push the sand. And he's created this line that other people ended up following. You can see how that line has now been pushed out, where traditionally it was inside, how it was designed and meant to be to enter the sand rollers, because there isn't this first roller here. So guys had the option to go to the outside, carry more speed, or they could go to the inside and have less of a run at it, but less area around the track to cover. Here, he's going inside to outside. It's a hybrid line that it enabled him to get away from the KTM riders almost to the finish line until he fell down. But what I also want to point out is his technique off the tabletop here, okay? It's not as fancy. There is no special scrub here, but watch what he does. Watch his body. Okay, he's in that attack position. Boom. Did you see that right there? So he goes from being in that attack position to standing all the way up. And why is he standing all the way up? Well, he's preventing that motorcycle from endoing on him. So it's like the reversed wheel tap brake. When you tap the rear brake in the air and pull the clutch in, those gyros stop moving, at least on the back end, and it drops the front end. Well, when you're naturally in that attack position, that bike is going to level out and start endoing a bit. But how do you counteract that? Well, you stand straight up. And you might think, Johnny, well, if he's standing forward, that is just going to push that motorcycle back down. No, he is standing up from the midsection of the motorcycle. He's not standing up and leaning forward, because that's going to go with inertia and continue that front wheel to drop down and endo. He is standing straight up. So if you practice on a stand, don't stand up and have your head over the crossbar. Stand up and have your head behind the crossbar, and it lifts that front wheel up. Small sidebar, if you are enjoying this content, I know you will love Coach Rob's podcast. He comes out with a couple episodes every month. The one that sticks out to me is Navigating Amateur MX. He always has a special guest on there, and it is the do's and don'ts, the deep dives on everything amateur motocross, from turning professional to just starting out. Go check that one out. And we'll get into Sexton. This is the deepest part of the track before the uphill triple to that gnarly downhill section. That is probably the roughest part, but this is the deepest part of the track. Watch what Sexton does. He has an mid line where most of the guys were going to the inside, but what he's doing is he's standing up, and he doesn't sit down until he's ready to accelerate and stick that leg out. Boom. Do you see him lifting that leg barely up so that that foot peg can fold because the rut is too deep in the off camber, and he's ready to accelerate. Just 3 motions in one. Grabbing the throttle, sticking the leg up, and sitting down. It's not 3 steps. It's all in one. And he is out of there. Let's watch that again. And on to the rider that impressed me the most of the weekend was Hymas. He's going to the inside, and he has pretty much the same technique. Did we catch it? So he's entering standing up, and then when he's ready to accelerate, he's going to do the 3 motion. Sit down, grab the throttle, either maybe feather the clutch if he needs to, lift that inside leg up so that the foot peg can fold. So look at his foot. Wow. Both professionally done. Ironically, yes, they are professionals. If you've made it this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification icon. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to make this type of content that I enjoy. And hopefully, well, I know for a fact that it is helpful and it helps teach. So thank you for that. Hymas on the big bull corner before the back section to where you get to Larocco's Leap. Look at him have that ass end chirp around. Just a little brake slide. It's subtle, but he's not sitting down. A lot of riders were sitting down here to set up for the corner. Hymas just slides, then accelerates, and he gets pointed straight. Yes, it's not over dramatic. It's not incredibly pronounced, but that's exactly what he's doing there. And as always, make sure you keep it WFO. Ba-ra-da-da-da-da.